stand might be a little too low. Let me fix this. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my humble home in my RV camper where I've been living for almost 2 years. And the reason why I decided to live in an RV camper was because I wanted to buy raw land for my horses and have a place to live. So it was a very, very smart decision that I made. A lot of people look at me and think that everything is everything is easy to obtain, but really it's very, very, very difficult. And I wanted to talk about perception of reality. Now, my last video was about coffee, and most people were like, all right, you've created some really great points about coffee. I'm going to give it up. And people don't understand that the adenosine, how the adenosine works, the hormone, and how it gets into the adenosine receptors, and how caffeine will sort of push that adenosine that makes you feel good and get you relaxed for sleeping in the evening. And what it will do is caffeine will just go into those receptors, into the receptor sites, and then you feel lit until the caffeine wears down, and then the adenosine receptor sites are filled with adenosine that's been in the bloodstream not having anywhere to go, and then you feel like you're crashing. Now, a lot of people, I'm starting to have like my social media blow up on the subject of coffee, but this concept also works with sugar, right? Except we're not dealing with adenosine, we're dealing with high levels of glucose or any type of addiction or cortisol addiction that you guys might be experiencing that gives you a subjective way to look at life. Now, I had some people say, like, I love my coffee and I'm never going to give it up. I'm like, I don't give a crap what you do with your coffee. You can stick it up your bunghole as far as I care. But for those who want to learn and not turn into an aging, fracked up person, then welcome to my channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, subscribe. I also work with a company called Let's Get Checked. This is where you can actually check your reproductive hormones, which I'm going to talk about, including your A1C, which is another thing that I like to look at when I'm coaching people. And you can find all of that on my website, stephanieperson.com, or in the show notes below. Now let's get on to it. Now, I am 55 going on 56. If I keep my mouth shut, a lot of people think that I'm in my 30s. And it's kind of fun because I can kind of be 30 like a couple more decades as long as I take care of this body. So it's perception of reality that dictates actions. And I came up with this video idea because I had a consultation with a woman not that long ago this morning, and she was sitting in her office and she was doing the corporate office, RN job. And she was saying what her limitations were in the last couple of years because, they made people take cookies. You know what I mean? For those who know what I mean, you know what I mean. And I was saying to her, I said, look, if you ever have to do anything again, we live in the U.S. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to work that job and take the cookies. Yes, I said cookies. Figure it out. You can do whatever you want. In fact, I would always say this, traveling even to countries where you're dealing with more of a poor population. Like the last time I went to South Africa and I was talking to Uber drivers. Now the Uber drivers in South Africa are coming from surrounding countries and not actually from South Africa themselves. And so they're seen more as like the more poor immigrant. And I was saying, as long as you have a computer or a phone, you can survive. Unless they take that away from you, which they probably will do. But the reality is that when it comes to my perception, once this whole narrative went down almost 3 years ago, it took me all about 10 days to go, I don't believe any of it. In fact, not believing in this narrative helped me do research to the counter. Instead of listening to all the hyperbole and all the nonsense, I decided to go the other route and learn even more about physiology and disease and how that works. And so instantly I realized I'm not going to make it in California because that's the state where things are tested. So I'm going to get out, and I went to Texas. once I got to Texas, I realized day one, I don't like Texas. Not the people, the landscape. So I ended up in Tennessee on my own land, and this is where life is starting to begin for me again at the ripe old age of 55 going on 56. It's about for me, it's about perception. I want to be young because I have a Peter Pan complex. I do. I don't have time to age. I don't have time for my hormones to drop. So I'm now going into peri. Now the menstrual cycle is going in and out, and eventually it'll be out. And even though the menstrual cycle stops, you still have another up. Depends on the woman. It depends on how well she takes care of her adrenals. You can go up 10 years of going through peri. You can still produce testosterone without overproducing dihydrotestosterone. Men too. They all go through menopause. Now DHT, that's bad. For women, it'll make you grow like beards, and your estrogen will fall to the ground. Your progesterone's low, and the only estrogen your body's making is estrone, making you more fat, sick, and tired, and aging, and the hair gets brittle, and your skin begins to lose its dexterity. And so, for me, my perception once this narrative went out 3 years ago was to get out, like find peace and serenity, and be able to breathe fresh air without putting a menstrual pad on my face with ear straps, the thin size, okay? Which, those things get stuck in the ocean, and the microplastics just destroy our seas. We haven't even gone into that nonsense. But with that said, I really want to encourage people with their health that whatever goal that you have to give up one thing to gain another. And it feels like a lot of you guys are stuck in the matrix, not wanting to give up your earthly pleasures. But it's what you design as pleasurable. I lived in Hollywood in an apartment where they took care of everything. I was paying extremely high amounts. I was spending almost $1,700 a month for a studio in Hollywood. Okay, now I pay nothing a month. And I also was paying board for my horse, which went up to $400 a month. So at the end of the day, I'm spending over $2,000 on what? What life was I achieving? I was living in Hollywood. I had done the Hollywood thing. I'd gone out and been around all the famous people and private and exclusive events. Not that I had a friend. She had the ins to all of it. But I started feeling, not myself. I started feeling just disgusted. I was bored. I didn't feel like I was maximizing my humanity. We are designed to live outside. We're not supposed to be inside. We have all these beautiful sensory to survive, yet we don't use them at all. We use them to pay for bills. We use them to fight each other and dislike each other and be color skin triggered. And it's like, I'm so tired of people being baited into these narratives where we all dislike each other. This will destroy your human physiology. It will destroy it. And that is the reason why when I see people, they look unhappy, unhealthy. They have no vivaciousness. The woman I had a consultation with, she had to fill out a form before I speak to her. And she went like, I sleep great, my energy's great, everything's great. But then when I saw her, like on a Zoom or StreamYard, I was like, I'm not trying to sound harsh, but your energy vibration is low. Your inflection, your intonation, when you speak, you don't speak with vivaciousness. You have no energy in your tone. And you may not realize, because your blood sugar is unstable, that you are suffering from adrenal issues. And she's like marathoner. She loves to stay active, but she doesn't have enough of the oomph to be able to get her to keep your body healthy. I was explaining to her, marathon runners and anybody who does extreme sports, they destroy their body. They look healthy on the outside, but if you really look close to the skin and the energy, you can see that people are not healthy. I can also see when people are on testosterone, TRT, HRTs. I can see when they're on these things because often the face don't match the body. Okay, they look a little bit old here, but then all of a sudden they've got muscles, and it's like there's no flow, right? It's when women get like boob jobs, or when women get boob jobs, or like the butt implants or plastic surgery, somehow their body does not flow anymore. And then like scientists trying to make it so good to where you can't see the cuts on the ear. Okay, I got no cuts on the ear. um, Basically, what I'm saying is perception of reality is what I think is the problem with humans today. They will hear something and then just believe it. So it could be the narrative of the last 3 years, and they'll be like, I want to protect my grandmother, my mother, and, encourage their parents to stay inside and isolated, where I did the absolute opposite. I encouraged my mom to get outside, to hug everybody, to love everyone, because without going into that subject, that's what strengthens your immune system. To get vitamin D, to eat food that nature provides us, because everybody's going around eating plastic food and not getting enough vitamin D, and then they're taking vitamin D supplements that are just god awful for your immune system, and not for your immune system, for that too, but for your kidneys and your biliary duct system. And often a lot of that chemicalized vitamin D gets stuck in your small intestine and crystallizes, and then comes out of your urine, and you don't really use it, and then you go take a test, you might see D in your blood, but you are still having hormone issues, low testosterone, high dihydrotestosterone. Men, you too, as you get older, more and more guys are going through low testosterone, high dihydrotestosterone. They have too much estrogen docking to their estrogen receptors, making their muscles soft. I see so many guys at the gym working out and working out and working out, and they can never get lean. They can never build muscle. They can never get cut. And I'm sitting here in my 60s, not 60s, almost 60s, soon to be 60s, full natty, natural girl. And why are these guys going through so many problems with their endocrine system? And so everything's about perception of reality. When I was in Los Angeles, you would see guys at the gym that are on some type of testosterone. So many young guys, right? Or you would see guys with makeup on because they're coming from an audition. And so the fear of not looking perfect overshadows our ability to go and work with our hands, or be smart, and being able to keep that body healthy, keep the body vivacious. Like when I go travel and I see to these poor countries, or when I was in Bali, or when I was in Cuba, or when I was in Africa, you see some of these older people who are not eating all the plastic food because they simply can't afford it, right? People who can eat plastic food, that are not living in cities, that are living in villages, are raising chickens and planting foods. And so you see some of these people are like, you're wondering like, why are you still working this hard? You're older. And they're like, because I still have 2 hands and 2 legs. Why would I sit down and watch sports and eat garbage? Everything's about perception of reality. A lot of people in my age say, well, I'm getting older, that's why I have aches and pains. Well, I had aches and pains, especially when I was 21, when I was doing a backside disaster on a vert ramp that was 12 feet tall with 2 feet of vert, and I fell on my back started spasming, and it spasmed for years until I started changing my diet, and I started lifting, and I started building muscle, and I started taking care of my body. So it's all about perception of reality. How I use my core, how I stand, how I sit. When I sit and I got my neck down and I'm looking at my phone, I'm like, okay, I'm not developing that trench neck, where the muscles drop and you're going through gluconeogenesis, and the body loves to take collagen and muscle from here, and from your triceps, and from your lower abdominal area, and from and add fat to this whole section as a woman, from your thigh all the way up. So it's all perception of reality. If you feel that you're older, your cells will go exactly in that way. And you won't be looking for foods that will help the cells stay strong to build testosterone, right? To keep my satellite cells, as a woman who's going through menopause, to keep my satellite cells functioning, to keep my hormones balanced, keep my adrenals to still produce testosterone and not dihydrotestosterone, and make sure that I'm making estradiol to keep my arteries strong, my bones strong when I lift, to make sure that I don't have, see, because when you have low estrogen, now you're having low calcium, and the body starts pulling it out of the bones. Women start to have fractures and all this. No. This happens when you stop using the body. This happens when you don't love thyself, when you're looking at a phone and you're looking for surgical interventions or taking pellets and pills and creams to keep your sex hormones where they should be at, right? Your reproductive hormones, so you can feel alive, so you can feel energized. I don't know how many times I do consultation or have I don't do a consultation. How many times I have a consultation with somebody where I'm trying to get their mind to open up that everything you do in a 24-hour day is going to affect the way the body's going to respond at night, and the depth that you sleep. Are you getting enough deep sleep? A lot of you guys are drinking alcohol, which prevents you from reaching a freaking deep sleep, a reparative sleep. Or people who are drinking coffee and then they're not having enough time for their body, the cortisol rhythm, where cortisol is supposed to go down, cortisol starts going up, adenosine starts flooding the receptors when the caffeine wears down. And now you're so tired that the only way you can get through your day is by overstretching your adrenal system. And then that is the reason why you're losing your testosterone, and or it's lowering beyond the xenoestrogens and the high blood sugar. And this is the reason why women are so estrogen dominant. This is the reason why women are going through all like the depression and the heart palps and the weight gain and the lack of muscle and the low testosterone and the low sex drive and the hot flashes and all this kind of stuff. And they just give up. And they start running towards their OBGs and getting all of the creams and the pills and the electrodes and the pellets, because they think that's the only way that you can stay funky, fresh, and fabulous. That's not the only way. Everything is about perception. I'm a person that wants to live. The hunger in me for life is, I can't explain it. It's like, I want to live. If I was one of those people on a plane crash, I'd be one of those people like, I'm gonna live. Like, broken leg and like spleen jacked up, broken foot. I'm gonna drag myself to safety. That's the kind of person that I am. So 5 years ago, I went to Australia to do a talk, and I decided that I need to turn off my TV, because I would turn on the TV nonstop. I mean, it was nonstop. Like all the shows, like the Housewives, and I wouldn't tell anybody. This stuff would be playing on in the background. I would do all the crime shows, like the Discovery crime shows, and I was like, what am I doing? And then the commercials would get louder and they affect your brain. And then you've got Instagram, which Instagram to me, people are like, you didn't get my message. I'm like, because I ain't looking, okay? I post, I turn it off, I put it in my pocket, or I try to put it away from me, but I can't deal with the overwhelming crap from technology. Everything is by perception. If you feel that you can't not eat or drink your stupid coffee, like, how weak must a person be? That's a slave. If you can't not eat a food, you're a slave. You're a slave. You don't have any free will. You want to be strong. Your body needs certain substrates to do everything it needs. The enzymes, to heal the gut, to repair, to have collagen, to have energy. You need zinc, copper to make testosterone. You're not going to get that from those stupid pills. You're going to get it from that liver. So if I hear one more weak ass person go, oh my God, it's so gross, I can't do the liver. That is a slave. Because if you were starving to death, that would be the best liver you ever ate. And that's what's scaring me about society. It's not the fact that you've become addicted to the external world. It's just that you won't even admit it. You're so addicted. Food is not entertainment, right? People doing carnivore eating freaking 2 pounds of beef, 3 pounds of beef. And I mean, and they're like, but like fat, like how do you not get fat on fat? It's like when anytime someone says something to me that I know is absolutely ridiculous, I don't sit and want to believe it because it's easier to do. Well, I'm afraid of fat, so I'll just pound the protein down because it makes me feel full. Even though I don't have enough hydrochloric acids, even though I don't have enough protease to break this shite down, even though my kidney functions are low because I just don't like drinking water, ew. You know how many times people ask me what I drink and I was like, what are you talking about? I drink water. Could you imagine if I did that with my horses? If I started giving them a sweet drink, they wouldn't want water because they'd become addicted to the sweet, like putting apple juice in water, for example. Oh my God, if I put apple juice in water, they wouldn't drink the normal water. It's about rediscovering what nature provides us. I moved to a small town. People ask, well, like, what do you think of the town? I'm like, I don't care. The reason why I moved here is because I wanted to be in nature. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to hug a tree, okay? I'm trying to use my body in ways that I've never used before, like building stuff. Or even when I work out, I'm like, I need to have more of a functional body because weightlifting is not functional. You don't move your body in every plane when you lift. You are laterally up and down and lateral. That's all you do, okay? And then people get stiff muscles, stiff tendons, everything's stiffened. They don't know how to stretch their levers. Everything is stiff. Everything is perception. Everything's perception. So my goal is to find peace and strength. Peace and strength. To find peace, you have to have acceptance. You have to accept that things are going to be hard. We want life to be too mother-sucking easy, and that's why your bodies won't improve. Because to keep the body strong and amazing as you get older, you got to work for it. There ain't no pill or cream or protein shake that's going to give you that youth and vitality and that purpose in life that you want. Not a dollar bill and not a protein shake. It's got to come from hard work. And without risk, there's no reward. Without difficulty, you don't have hope. You must have things be difficult. And then you go, I accept the challenge. Because if you accept the challenge, you will win. If you don't accept the challenge, you will lose. And it's that black and white. People today are too sensitive. People today are fighting over color of skin. You're not going to bait me in that. You're not going to bait me into any of this stuff. It's us against them. It's not us against each other. And that is the reason why we're failing. I don't understand why people become so separated into groups. I don't understand this nonsense. As a black woman moving to a small town in Tennessee where the majority is white, I was forewarned by everybody. I've never met such kind, nice people as I have here. If I had listened to that garbled nonsense, I wouldn't have moved here. And I wouldn't have gone through this incredible cathartic experience to move to raw land where my neighbor is always making sure that I'm okay. Always. And if something looks wrong, when my donkey was limping, boop, 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 Stephanie, your donkey's limping. I just want you to know, make sure that your donkey's okay. Hey, something's wrong. I didn't see your car in the spot. Oh, it's at the shop. Okay, just want to make sure everything's okay. Did anybody do that in Los Angeles, in Hollywood? Oh, hey, never. But my life was easier then. Everything was taken care of. I just had to ride my bike to the gym. So fabulous. So fabulous. But I was internally bored. I didn't feel like a human being anymore. Everything has changed. Everything. It's like this whole Kardashian effect. that people become so consumed with the outside, they forget about evolving as the primal inside. That's the inside. So this whole thing with, what's his face? The Liver King guy. And he's like taking the PEDs, which if you guys don't know what that is, that's gear. And if you want to know what that is, that's some fake stuff to make you have muscles. And I believe that I'm older than him. You don't have to. He's all talking about the ancestral everything. Like, it's not about that. It's not about that. If you get too caught up in that YouTube Hollywood garbage, that's what it is. To be famous and to have everybody love you, you start lying, start not telling the truth. And that's where we run into problems with the carnivore keto world. People will say, well, how does this person maintain their weight, or how do they do this and that and the third? If by what you're saying, Stephanie, if what you're saying is true, and I'm like, they lie. Okay, it's that simple. What's wrong with you people? Okay? People are omitting the truth, and then that makes them feel like they're not lying. Right? That's how it works. And you can find that with the Liver King guy or whomever else, that if you just don't talk about it, and then you can just come across as any kind of certain way, then people will just believe whatever you're saying, like, oh, I got all jacked up and big and have all these abs because I'm natural. Like, it's just like the ancestral freaking tenets or whatever he calls it. I mean, it's good that he came out and told the truth, but he told the truth because he got caught. Let's start way before that ever happens. The point of this video is to remind you guys that nothing in life should be easy. You should be challenged. That's what makes us human. That is the reason why I went from Hollywood to podunk nowhere. To podunk nowhere. I want it that way. I don't want to be near a city. At first, I was negotiating how far out from the city I wanted to be. Oh, I want to be out like 20 minutes. Then it became 30 minutes. Then it became 40 minutes. And it scared me to be 40 minutes away from a major city. So ridiculous. I want everyone to start learning more about the signs and signals of poor health, or about depression, anxiety, drinking coffee when you're exhausted, overstretching the body, taking exogenous, which means from the outside of the body to the inside of the body, or the inside of the body, stuff made in a lab, before you start doing some self-reflection first. I am so tired of people saying that I can't quit my job, I can't move. You can do whatever the frack you want to do. Y'all don't live in a camp in China. No, you don't. No, you don't. Some of these poor countries that I've been to, it's like it's so important to see poverty on a object or abstract level, because it gives you a sense of, like when I was in Africa, they're like, there's no water. There's no water. You stay in a little guest house thingy and you get a bucket. And with that bucket, sorry, this is the measurement for my horse's feet, but in that bucket, you put water over your head and you wash. And then you put a couple more water over your head to take off the soap. That's what they do in some of those African villages where they don't have water. See, I could go and do this. Hear that? And get some beautiful well water. Free. And I'm so grateful for it. Stop talking about how liver is so disgusting, and how hard it is to quit your coffee, and oh my God, if I don't eat cheese, what else in the world am I going to eat? That is the reason why people fail. That is the reason why, as we get older, you look older, you feel older, you act older, and that's why you have the aches and the pains and the depression and the low energy. And then when the television says that a boogeyman is running around and you got to do this, that, and the third, y'all do it like a bunch of lemmings. Just sign up for it. Like, don't even read the disclaimer. Just sign up for it. Doctor goes, oh, you need to be on vitamin D pills. Sign up for it. Oh, you need to be on statins. You sign up for it. Oh, you need, what else? You need to have your uterus removed. You need to have your breasts removed. You need to have your gallbladder removed. Okay, you just let them do it. You don't even question anything. Some people, I'll be like, well, why'd you do that? And they just look at me like I've got 3 heads on my shoulder. What do you mean? Because that's what you're supposed to do. I was like, all your survival skills are gone. Because now your blood sugar is too high. Now you have got high blood pressure, and high blood pressure medication is making people deaf. When you sign up for that devilry, you sign away. When you gain one thing, you give up another. And you don't want to give up things because you want an easy pill to take away your pain, your hurt, your aches, your sadness, whatever it is. I have a lot of consultations with people who are on SSRIs, right? If you don't know what that is, serotonin reuptake inhibitors, those for mood disorder. But nobody ever talks about, what are you doing? What's the diet like? What nutrition are you devoid of? What toxic exposure have you gone through in life? Perception of reality is everything. It is everything. Believe nothing and question everything until you decide what's going on. Not what the television tells you or your phone tells you. It's called cognitive dissonance, right? I never understood this whole concept of like people being brain scrubbed until the last 3 years. And then I was like, whoa. And you can equate this to any subject. What's happening in the world, food, sleep, relationships, beauty, whatever the subject is, you know, what is it in life that you are fighting so hard to achieve or to do or feel? I was just in that mood. I just wanted to talk about life and ask, like, what's your perception of life? Because people are like, oh my God, you're so strong. And I'm like, no. When I saw that woman in Bali who was in her 80s with a bucket on her head and a strap, and she was walking up these stairs up this mountain, and tourists were dying like flies trying to walk up this hill, and this old lady was like one step at a time, and she didn't have to stop, and she kept going. I was so fascinated. I was like, I just wanted to sit and videotape her and then watch it and become inspired to do better. To live your life like it's like every day is your last. You squeeze every freaking, like my glove, you squeeze every little drop of life every day out of that rag, and then your body is going to do what you want it to do. It's like horses. They want to do good, but you need to really show them and show them what's right instead of reaffirming what's wrong. That's how horses, people are like, so many people are afraid of horses. I'm like, well, don't reaffirm what's bad. Reaffirm and positive affirmation of what's good. Then these massive creatures, and this is very fascinating because I rescued a wild donkey, right? And you're trying to put a halter on her head and a lead line, and that's fine, everything's fine, until she doesn't want you to pull her anymore, right? And she's considered a mini donkey. She's a little bit bigger than a mini. And then I have my big horse, who's gigantic, okay? And I had him free, and I was walking my mini donkey and the mini horse, and something scared her, and she just lunged forward like a half a foot, and I literally fell to my knee. Like, she's almost 500 pounds. So she wants to pull me forward. Dunk. And then she's like, I can either yank your shoulder out of joint or give you rope burn so bad that you can't touch anything for a year, or you can let my ass go. I was like, okay, I'll let you go. I want to keep my hand and my shoulder, thank you. And she ran off to safety, which was back into the pen, or the pasture. So after that, I started respecting the strength of my big horse, because he's about 10 times stronger than she is. I mean, you can actually see the big muscles on his chest, because I like ride him uphill every day. And I thought, he got spooked when I was hand walking him on the street in the neighborhood, and his head got real high and he wanted to run, but he did not, because I got him to trust me. I affirmed the positive and I didn't affirm the negative. So I stayed calm, so he's going to stay calm. He's not going to just run off. And like, you can't stop a big horse. They're strong. You can't stop them. Your hands can do nothing. Your little fragile human body can do nothing. So it was like constant reminders of what it's like to be so meek as a human, the guidance that these creatures need, and how humans are exactly the same way. My horse, who's a rescue, who was totally abused, has completely changed. He was despondent. He would stand in a corner with his head down and stand in a 12 by 12 stall box with piss and crap this deep, okay? I was so filled with piss and crap he could never lie down. He was just locked standing for days and years. So now that he's here, I see his mind activated and his sensory, and he's completely changed as a horse. And I'm feeding into that natural human horse, his natural instincts. And his mind, he's a very smart horse. He needs to be stimulated at all times. So I stimulate his mind. And then he says, thank you. And then he does what I ask of him, and I say, thank you. And I say to him all the time, I'm going to ride you today, and you're going to keep me safe. So this is a long-winded video, but maybe you guys can just play this if you're driving or cleaning. But I want to inspire people to not just believe in anything that you hear. A lot of these gurus are just telling you a bunch of bullshit, and they're so caught up in it, they don't even know. You know, like Liver King I was listening to his apology video. He's like, well, the more you deny it, the more that becomes your reality. The more he was taking PED's gear, basically stuff to give him fake muscles, and all of a sudden you're just having to keep up with all the lies. And then you're starting to defend, right? Because that's what we do as humans. We defend things we shouldn't be defending. And that becomes your normal. And it's almost like you believe in it. You know it's not true, but you kind of believe in it, because you're defending your sanctity. You're defending your name, who you are. And all you're doing is just digging a hole. So I'll talk to people who are eating like the wrong foods, making the wrong choices, and then they'll lock up, they get super defensive, and they'll defend themselves. And I'll say things like, I don't care. You do what you want to do. I'm only here to give you the message. You don't want to quit your coffee or cheese and staying up really late, or drinking alcohol, or whatever people are doing on a low-carb diet, then you do that. I cannot stop you. I'm just only here to give you the message. And hopefully it'll be put in the back file of your brain, so when you're ready to access it, it'll be there. I want people to wake up. What you see today, I can't talk about current events with people because they're like, oh, I don't talk politics. I'm like, well, I don't either. I just talk about humanity. We can't even talk about humanity. We can't talk about what we see, how things are impacting us. And even if you're in the carnivore sphere, I can't talk to any of these other gurus and be like, yo, why are you saying this and that? Because it would be seen as insulting. What? Not eating is insulting, right? Being sick is insulting, not words. We must remember to challenge each other and question each other. That's how we learn. What is it? Stand for something or fall for anything? But stand for something. Not this matrix world we're living in. You know, if you're talking to a vegan person, everybody should be open-minded to learn. Is there something about veganism that I'm missing? Let's talk about it. I doubt it, but let's talk about it. People can't offend me. The only way that anyone can offend me is if they hurt my animals. Other than that, sticks and stones might break my bones, but words will never hurt me unless I let them hurt me. And once you guys really start understanding this concept, you won't be afraid to let in things that scare you. Like your fear of letting your safety world or safety food or lifestyle go, to then evolve as a human, survive as a human, and allow new things to come in. And that is one thing that our hunter-gatherers did, was constantly be challenged with things new. And if you don't have new challenges, and I don't mean bills, real challenges, your health will not improve. It won't. You can eat the right supplements or no supplements, or drink coffee or not drink coffee, or do high fat or protein or whatever, you can do whatever. But nothing's going to improve unless you start getting to know yourself better and learning how to be a human again, and to not let words hurt you. Hurt people. Stop hurting. And then you won't hurt people, and you won't be hurting yourself. Don't allow fear to overtake. Just don't allow the fear of judgment to overtake what you know innately you need to do. Get off your ass, shite or get off the pot, and start living life to your fullest. Because as long as I lived in the USA, I've always had a choice. I don't have to have that job if they want to give me cookies. I can move to another job. I don't have to live in that neighborhood if there's crime. I don't have to do any of that. You're only stuck if you think you're stuck. And if you don't believe me, go to countries where people make 50 cents and $1 a day. And real quick, you'll realize that you have more freedoms than what you think you do. All right, guys, there was no rhyme or reason. I just was feeling it today. I just wanted to talk about what's your perception of reality before I asked you guys, what are you chasing? Because I feel like you guys are chasing your freaking tail. What's your perception of reality? Do you think that you can get your health in order and your thyroid problems in order without thyroxine, or synthroid? Do you think that you can get off your SSRIs? Do you really think you need to take a statin? Do you really think you need to be on that high blood pressure medication? Do you really need to think you need to be on birth control pills? Do you need to think do you really think you need to get Pokemon dance in the shoulders to be like safe? Do you really think so? Yeah. Do you really think that sleeping only 6 hours is making you feel rested? It's giving you enough REM cycles to repair and release growth hormone? Now I gotta go and live my best life at 55, going on 56. And I got stuff to do. I don't have time to age, y'all. I just got time to get better and wiser and more excited about life. And I want to encourage you guys I used to do sports bra videos all the time because I wanted to show people that I am consistently working on this body and this human every day. Not one day I allow to go by without taking care of this fantastic temple, so people can see that this is really me. Now I gotta go and ride my horse because he needs exercise. Same as humans. Peace. If you guys want to learn more, go to stephanieperson.com. I'm going to come back. I think my next video is all going to be about hormones, about the aromatization of men, the dihydrotestosterone, the postmenopause, why men's testosterone is so low these days, how blood sugar affects that, how chemicals affect that, how processed food affects that, how pesticides affect that, how your birth control pills, your HRTs affect your gut. We're going to talk about it. And how it affects your adaptation into becoming ketotic, and which diet would be the best for you for your most optimal health. Now I gotta go. Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic. My Facebook is Stephanie the Business. person, or you can just stand right here and stay on this channel. Comment below, tell me more of what you guys want me to talk about. Yeah, I think that's it. Is that it? You can book a consultation or join my course through stephanieperson.com. And yes, I am going to be running a challenge. I think signups will be in January. The start of it will be in February. And I really want to inspire people to live their best lives as we get older, because you don't have to age if you don't want to. Without going under that knife. Peace. Energy, energy, energy as I shake my whole RV. Energy, energy, energy. At 55, going on 56. In full ketosis, haven't had no sugar, no carbs, no nothing. Full natural girl. And I'm out. Peace.